Welcome back to the channel. So Christopher Lee was interviewed by the UCD Law Society, I believe back in the early 2000s, and he was asked by one of the journalists if it was true he had a huge collection of occult books in his library. It was rumoured at the time he had over 2,000 volumes, I believe. He denied it, of course, and said he only had a few books by Dennis Wheatley, and I think a few books on alchemy as well. I might be wrong about that. But yeah, the point is, I mean, alchemy, for example, is a fascinating subject. It's still practiced today as well. It's a study of, I guess you'd call the mystery of life. And you see that mystery playing around us all the time. A seed turning into flower, a bird into fruit, for example. And alchemists, back in the day, believed they could turn base metals into gold through a curious mix of prayer, practical equipment, and magic. Now, back in the 16th, 17th century, alchemists tended to be the educated and the well-off because they needed large laboratories and equipment in order to practice their craft. Whereas in the rural communities, of course, folk magic was rife in those communities because you only needed simple ingredients to practice their form of magic. It's not certain where or when alchemy first appeared. Roughly 300 BC is mentioned both in the West and the East, and it's not clear, even to this day, if the East introduced alchemy to the West or vice versa. A clue could be that Alexander the Great, for example, when he invaded India, could have introduced the science. But again, it's not clear. But it does have its beginnings in ancient Egypt and the god Thoth and the emerald tablets where it's mentioned. But yeah, coming back to folk magic, like I said, back in the 16th, 15th centuries, it was practiced. It was widespread throughout the rural towns and villages. And in my new horror movie, Beast in the Manor, which is a folk horror movie, we dabble in, I guess, a little bit of alchemy and runes and black magic. The story revolves around a pagan god that's resurrected. And don't want to give too much away, of course, but wreaks havoc over where it goes, as you'd expect in a horror movie. Got to keep the horror fans happy. But yeah, if you're interested in any of my other films, you can find them on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Apple TV, Fandango at home, YouTube, Stash Thrills and Chills, for example, Movie Central, Geoflix, the Roku channel. And the movies are Nest of Vampires, Werewolf Cabal, Demons at Dawn, The Haunted Studio, Bring Me a Skin for Dancing In, another folk horror movie, Ripper Revealed, Big Cats, and there's more to come as well. Like I said, we just finished shooting Blood Witch, and I'm about to direct my new one, A Beast in the Manor, early May, so very exciting. And I always try and, I always do a lot of research into the mythology around these subjects in these films, like Anthropy, for example, and folk magic, and try and incorporate that into the scripts. It's not always appreciated by the critics. I think they miss that a little bit. It is what it is. So yeah, subscribe to Black Coppers Films if you feel so inclined. Follow us on Instagram too at Black Coppers Films, and I'll keep everyone updated. Thank you.